Guys, sun's out, guns out. Summer is almost here. Let me ask you a question. Are you ready to unveil your beach bod? When you're well groomed, you feel more confident, and Manscaped's ready to ensure that you're looking good with their full body grooming and hygiene products. So now is the perfect time to level up with their Performance Package 4.0. Get the essential Lawnmower 4.0 waterproof, cordless body trimmer with a ceramic blade and advanced skin-safe technology to reduce grooming accidents. Inside the Performance Package, you're going to find the Crop Preserver deodorant and Crop Reviver toner, along with the Weed Whacker 2.0, and 2 free gifts: the Shed travel bag and the patented high-performance Manscaped boxers. You can get 20% off plus free shipping just by using the promo code Chael at manscaped.com. Or to make it even easier, just click on the link below. Second guessing the rules after the fact is one of the most blatant forms of unsportsmanship that there is. Do we all agree? It is pointless. It takes away from the victory. I still got to do it. I got to do it. I'm not unsportsmanlike. I wasn't part of the contest. And of course, what I'm talking about is Gilbert versus Belal and the rules that they made. Belal got this one right. Look, I can tell you till I'm blue in the face, but it's a tough concept to understand. I realize that. The fighters know who's going to win the fight before the fight ever starts. That is a broad stroke, of course, because every now and then you get surprised. To give you a great example, there was nobody more surprised when Justin Gaethje stopped Tony Ferguson than Justin Gaethje. Sometimes you will outperform your own expectations. But the fighters will generally know. I mean, I could take 50 guys, and I've seen this experiment since I was 9 years old. I take 50 guys and put them in a wrestling room. 1 hour later, they will know who the baddest dude is. And don't think for a second they all touched each other. I mean, this weight on down stays over here. This weight stays over. They don't even intermingle. They won't even say hello. 1 hour later, everyone in that room will know who the king is. And if you guys have ever seen this in the animal kingdom, it's very real. My father used to do a lot of things with cows. And if we would bring a new cow from the auction, let's just say, for example, we'd open up the trailer and we'd put the cow in the field with 50 other cows. The baddest cow will come up and say hello, and it's not nice to the new cow. They will then butt heads and a fight takes place. Have you guys ever seen this? With cows, there's no horns, so nobody has to die, but they will put their heads to no discussion has to happen. This is what is going to happen every time you put a new cow in a field with cows that have an established leader. They will put their heads together, and then they will start to push. Whoever backs the other one up wins, and they go the best of 3. If you haven't seen this, you probably think, what, champ, come on, they go the best of 3. Yes, they will go the best of 3. Absolutely. It's an incredible thing, and then that cow falls into line forever. When it is time to eat, no one moves until the head cow lets them know, and he walks first, and they all follow him. There's a thing. There's a system. And I'm sharing for you, that doesn't end in the animal kingdom. Gilbert and Belal knew who was going to win that fight before that fight ever started. And we didn't know, right? So then we come and we watch them in the media, and we watch the back and forth, and it's why the ceremonial weigh-in is so important for this, right? The expression, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Nobody understands that as well as Dana White. That is why he gets you so many pictures. It is the whole reason he shows back up. The commission doesn't make him be there. He's not being paid to be. He shows back for this ceremonial weigh-in to give you guys one last look at their bodies, at their builds, juxtapose that with previous performances, start to judge and form an opinion on their level of conditioning. It's very real. Their level of fitness is very, very real. Handicappers and bettors and odds makers, I just share this with you because that's what we do. We try to watch this, but all we're really looking for is to find out between the two of them. We know that they already know. But now we want to see if we can figure out who it is, right? It's the whole reason you watch this. And I have to ask you, When Belal asked for this to be 5 rounds, it was a tell. It was a tell not only to Gilbert, not only to us, but it was a tell to the rest of the division. And quite frankly, it scared the hell out of them. Nobody wants to go more rounds than they have to. You guys can relate to whatever job you have. What do you guys put in 8 hours? I think that's typical. That'll remain typical until I'm in charge, believe me. We'll go to a 6-hour work day, believe me. A 30-hour work week. That's a whole nother conversation. You guys probably put in 8 hours a day. You probably put in 40 hours a week. What if you had the option? You're not getting paid anymore. We're going to give you the option. Would you like to work another 70%? None of you would say yes. But if you did have a guy, at the job site, guy in the office that did say yes, and by the way, he wasn't saying that to like gain favor with the boss. He really meant it. He really enjoyed this. He really wanted to be out there another 70%. He was just the guy with that attitude. It just hit, you'd respect the hell out of him. You wouldn't question that guy. You'd make him your leader. So when Belal steps forward and says, I want to go another 70%, I want to do what nobody else does. They quit calling the 4th and 5th round. They started calling it championship rounds. Every single expression ever coined in this sport is stupid. All of them. From the night that Robbie Lawler taught us to run it back, to the night that Daniel Cormier told us, share the octagon, to the time that Conor McGregor, instead of saying how old a guy is, said this many years of age. And all you that have eaten it up and now it's your new vocabulary, the only one that's ever been created worth a damn championship rounds. Whoever said that should get credit. Matt Hughes comes out and says you're not the champion until you defend the championship after he defended the champion. You didn't say it before. I mean, we've got all these expressions in this sport. And you know who's who when you hear them, except for the guy that said championship rounds. It's a very special thing, and only champions go in those rounds. The only time they're called for when that term was developed was championship matches. They didn't exist anywhere else. It was in the bylaws. So when Belal comes out and tells the world, I'm not only going to step to the number one guy, I'm not only going to step to the only Abu Dhabi medalist this company even has under contract. Don't think you have to correct me with Kron Gracie. We got 2, it turns out. I'm not only going to step to him on short notice, in a sold-out arena, in a co-main, on pay-per-view. I'm going to challenge him in a game of chicken in front of the world to do it another 70%. To do the fight that's been discussed plus 70%. It was intimidating. Now, Muhammad tried to bluff a guy that's not going to blink. You did not see Muhammad go out there and expose Gilbert or destroy Gilbert or show up Gilbert. You saw 2 duds. That's what you saw. One of them won, and that meant the other one didn't. But that's what you saw. This was special. But when Muhammad played this game of chicken, it wasn't just against Gilbert. He knew Gilbert wasn't going to blink. He knew he was going to have to pull down to 170. He knew Gilbert would say yes. But he sent a message to the rest of the division. And trust me, there is nothing more intimidating than that. It's just the truth. You talk about confidence, guys. You hear people say that. I'm confident. Gary Goodrich, I got to give him credit. I mean, this is 20 years ago that Goodrich says. It's more like 25 years ago. But he hit it right on the head. And I was an athlete back then. I was at college back then. I was an athlete. And I knew it, but I'd never heard it said so well. I've taken this with me. And I've brought it to you guys. I must give Big Daddy credit, though. And Goodrich said all confidence is conditioning. If you're in good shape, you have confidence. And if you're not, if you didn't put the work in, you don't. He's right. And there is nothing that will scare a combat athlete more than the idea of fatigue. Nothing. Not victory. Not whether I'm going to win or lose or what my paycheck's going to be, if my dad's going to be proud of me. It's not. Those are all things. It's not number one. Number one is I will reach a point of exhaustion where I can't follow the golden rule, which is to protect myself at all times. That I will get so fatigued I can't finish the match. And when you get TKO'd, that means you can't finish the match. That is looked at as a more honorable way than stopping on the stool, than having the towel thrown in. That's looked at as though you don't have heart. It's the same thing. You got so tired you couldn't get off the stool and you were smart enough to tell your coach, okay, great. You weren't smart enough to tell your coach. You went back out there but could do nothing and the guy pounded you out. For some reason, that one's more honorable. It's the same thing. I'm just sharing that with you. There is nothing that will bring fear more. So when Muhammad plays this game with the baddest dude on short notice, gets his way, and then pushes through, believe me when I tell you. The boys in the back respected him before. Believe me when I tell you. It is different now. I've been that guy in the back. You walk in, you got a whole room full of killers, and you walk in, and they stand back when you walk in. It's a great feeling, and I'm telling you, it's the one that Muhammad's going to have next time he walks in the back. I hope that you guys saw it. I hope that you guys respect it. But I guarantee you the boys in the locker room on the roster did. They will not look at Muhammad the same. They know that he played a game of chicken. They know that he thought it was going to bluff and back down Gilbert, but it didn't. Gilbert stepped to it, but you still got to understand, and you can relate it to what you do. You don't want to go an extra 70% for no more money. He did. Much harder, much more difficult, much more risk. Much more risk. He did it anyway. Belal Muhammad is the real deal. He's the number one contender that's not named Colby Covington, and he earned it. And if you say anything different than what I just said, you're not telling the story accurately.